Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuriyam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastvanirakaranam me astu Tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu dharmaha te mayi santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In Kenopanishad it is said, Omkara is the alambanam. Etad alambanam shreshtham, etad alambanam param. Alambanam means support. One meaning of that is, it is the indicator of Saguna Brahma also, and it is the indicator of Nirguna Brahma also. But another meaning of the word alambanam is, it is the support through which we can dissolve all upadhis. All conditionings can be dissolved in this Karana Avastha. That is the support which this Omkara provides. Or Bhagwan's name. Tasya Vachaka Pranava means what? Tasya Ishwarasya Vachaka Pranava. So any name of the Lord, when we take, it has that much of ability to dissolve entire creation into it. Puja Guruji has written a beautiful composition, right? Shiva Shiva Japate Leena Manaho. Not only Vyashti Mana, but also Samashti Mana can be dissolved in this mind, in this Omkara. There it is Lord Shiva's name. It can be any name. So we can benefit from it in our Nididhyasanam. In Mandukya, there is one Karika which comes, which says, if somebody has to quieten the mind, it also has a prakriya. Upayena nigruhniyat. Means there is a upaya for it. There is a systematic process for it. One cannot forcefully control this mind. One technique mentioned there is through Vairagya. If somebody can think about limitations of that thing, wherever this mind is going, they say there it will get quietened down. And in this quietened mind, I can bring Brahma Chintanam, indicators of Brahma. But this is also one upaya. Through Omkara, all thoughts are, or we try to dissolve all thoughts in Omkara. Okay. In the last session, we had seen two different facets of how results are. What are you saying right now? No, this is a recap, so it will be smaller only. But you are seeing the full screen, right? Okay. You don't have to read it. I'm just recapping. So the purpose of this slide is it should trigger what things were discussed, as the image should trigger it. So two possibilities were there. One was karma itself giving results of action, and second was karta, the doer, deciding results of action. So this is where Bhagwan gave a lot of logic and reasoning. He said action done in one place gives results in another place at a different time after several years or after several janmas. So there has to be some entity which is a sentient entity keeping track of karma phalas. What is the harm in saying karta himself decides? Bhagavan pointed out two limitations. One was karta himself doesn't know which karma done at which place should give which result. For himself also, he might take less than what it really will give. And second is, if he could decide, then anishta phala, those results that he doesn't want, that he will never seek. But it is not our experience in that way. We get so many results that we don't seek. Meaning what? There has to be somebody different from karma and karta who is karma phala data. So this took us to the next conclusion of this whole analysis, that whenever it comes to different experiences, results in life, we are only receivers, we are not choosers. In Karma Yoga, this is called as Prasada Buddhi. And when it comes to doing our actions, we are contributors, not controllers. This also is called as Yajna Bhava. Bhagavan says if we do actions other than this kind of attitude, that action will bind us. Yajnarthat karmanah anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. This entire creation is in the grip of Maya. It's a bandhanam only. The moment you start doing anything, that work will bind us, provided we do it with Yajna Bhava. What is Yajna Bhava? That we will get through these pointers. Yajna Bhava can be looked at in different ways. This is one way to look at it. What is most important is to accomplish my Bhagavan's work. So I am a contributor in that work, not the controller. Right? This is what Hanumanji would say in Sundarakanda. If Surasa is becoming big, I also become big. I am not helping my Bhagavan's work. He says I can become small also and get the work accomplished because I am only the contributor in his work. So this is just a summary of what we had seen in the last session. Now came a Poorva Paksha who said, what is your pramana to say that Ishwara is there? Which pramana are you using? So Poorva Paksha says, until now, you are only giving Arthapatti pramana. Arthapatti means what? If I see a result, without this particular thing being the cause, such a result is not possible. What is the similar pramana to Arthapatti? Anumana pramana. But in Anumana pramana, such a strong correlation is not there. Anumana means two people are always together. If you see one person, you assume that other person will also be there. But person 1 and 2 are not cause and effect of each other. But in Arthapatti pramana, if you are seeing the result, the cause has to be there. So here what did we say? If we are seeing karma phalas coming to us in this way, there has to be some entity which is karma phala data. So Poorva Paksha is telling us you are using Arthapatti pramana until now. But main pramana for Ishwara Siddhi is Shastra Pramana. That is why this is Purva Mimamsaka, Poorva Paksha. He says Shastra Pramana is the main pramana. How can you use Arthapatti? Now look at what Shastras are saying. Poorva Paksha says, they say Swarga Kamo Yajeta. One who is desirous of Swarga, that person should do Yajna, appropriate Yajna for going to Swarga. And that yajna itself can give swarga. Swarga kamo yajeta, he says that should be interpreted as doing that yajna itself is giving the result. Why do you need karma phala data to take you to swarga? This is his Poorva Paksha. So then Bhagavan started with a very broad picture of what are the different types of karmas. We'll quickly recap it. The first one was Drushta Phala Karma. These are all names of karma. Drushta Phala means what? Those actions which we do, whose results are seen by the doer himself. That is called as Drushta Phala. Then comes Adrushta Phala. Actions whose results are unseen at the moment. It's going to come at some other point. It can come in this life, or if one doesn't get moksha, it can come in future lives also. But when it comes, one is unable to correlate which karma led to this particular result. That is called as Adrushta Phala Karma. Then within Drushta Phala, there are two types. One type is called as Anantara Phala Karma. Second is called as Kalantara Phala Karma. Antara means with a gap. Anantara means without a gap. Meaning those actions that end by producing the result. So there is no gap between action and result. They are called as Anantara Phala Karma. Two examples were given. Walking and eating. The moment that action is done, there is no time gap. That, okay, I ate now, at some other point I will start feeling full. As I'm eating, at that time only the result is gained. Same with walking. The moment that action of walking ends, going to that destination which is our result, that is attained right after the action is complete. But Kalantara Phala Karma, it says they end without producing the result. Means action ends, result has not come yet. Kalantara Phala means Phala is going to come later. There is a antara, there is a gap of kala in between the action being complete and result getting accrued. And this Kalantara Phala again has two types. One is called as Atmadhina. Adhina means depending upon. Atmadhina means depending upon the doer. And Sevyadhina, meaning predominantly depending upon the person to whom this action is offered. Sevya means the altar to which the seva is offered. Sevaka is the one who is offering it. This is another Karma Yoga Siddhanta. Towards whoever we are offering our seva, that becomes our Swami. He says that is our savior, and according to that, one gets results. So Atmadhina, Bhagavan gives one example, farming. He says in farming there are so many things the farmer himself has to decide which seed to sow, when to sow it, what fertilizers to use. The result which is going to come depends upon all these factors. So he says it's predominantly depending upon the choice of this doer. So in these two types of karmas, Anantara Phala Karma and Atmadhina Karma, he says the result itself will give action right away. Even if you say that there is no need for separate karma phala data, we can understand. You walked, you got the result. You ate, got the result. Sowed something, it came at a later time, but at least you know that person only had done that action. But then he says there is something called as Sevyadhina Karma. So this is like I work for 1 month, and then after 1 month I get paid for that work. Now, depending upon how I have worked, that other karma phala data will decide what I should get as phalam. So what the karma phala is depending upon the savior, the one who is going to give that result. Now this, if you apply in a non-work setting, it will open up more. let us say if there is some sevaka and he is doing seva of Swami. Now, to the extent he does that seva with sincerity, devotion, dedication, to that extent, this Swami's mind will be tuned to that sevaka. Means when he has to give karma phala, all those things that he has done, that will contribute towards this karma phala. Bhagavan is later going to say, just like we understand this in terms of Swami and Sevaka in the transactional plane, in the cosmic plane also, whenever we do our karmas, those karmas, if they are done for Bhagavan, they leave an impression in Bhagavan's mind. They leave an impression in Bhagavan's mind, and whenever Bhagavan has to give karma phala, he gives with all those impressions collected together and also adds his own grace along with it. Just like that Swami, the Sevaka worked very nicely and he was very happy also. But when he is going to give something back, he can add things from his side also, right? He will not do it only based on whatever karma that Sevaka has done. That means he has not melted his heart sufficient, right? So Bhagavan is later going to say, Bhagavan Shankaracharya is going to say that when Bhagavan gives karma phala, he gives in that way. Okay. Now you see, the main point was this yajna karma, which he had pointed, right? Swarga kamo yajeta. He says that is like this sevyadhina karma. You are doing karma, no doubt, but result has to be given by some another sentient entity. Just like in transactional life, if sevaka does karma, that karma phala has to be given by sevya. So in the same way, this yajnadi karma also are like sevyadhina. Results will come based upon Bhagwan's grace. Okay. Now you see, Bhashya should be very simple. 96 page number. Shastrat karmanah eva iti chet shastram hi kriyatah phalasiddhim aha na ishvara dehe swarga kamo yajeta ityadi na cha pramana adigatatvat anarthakyam yuktam na cha ishvara astitve pramanantaram asti iti chet na drushta nyaya hana anupapattehe. Now Poorva Paksha is asking, Shastrat karmanah eva iti chet. If you say that Shastras say that results are gained only by karma, why do you say that? He says, Shastram hi kriyatah phalasiddhim aha na ishwarade. Scriptures are saying that phalasiddhi is only through karma, not through Ishvara. Just like in Swarga Kamo Yajeta. I won't elaborate this now because I already elaborated before. We'll just see the Bhashya directly. Nacha pramana adigatatvat anarthakyam yuktam. When one pramana is there, you cannot leave that pramana and go for some other pramana. Means prabala pramana which is there, that is Shastra Pramana. Don't take Arthapatti over here. Poorva Paksha is telling. Don't take Arthapatti. Shastra is the main pramana. And he says, Nacha Ishvara Astitve Pramanantaram Asti. In establishing that there is Bhagwan, there is no other pramana other than Shastra Pramana. This is his point of view. Bhagwan says, that is okay. But don't do Drishta Nyaya Hana. Drishta Nyaya Hana means something which is very clearly established through logic. One cannot let go of that. He's taking a different route now. Later on, he will come back to Shastra also. He says, you have read Shastra. Bhagwan is Shruti Smriti Purananam Alaya. He says, I have also read Shastra. I will give the quotations which you missed while reading. But before doing that, he is giving logical side of this. He says that if there is something which is established through nyaya, one cannot let go of that. So the entire elaboration, whatever we saw, right, the two types of karma, drushtaphala, adrushtaphala, anantaraphala, kalantaraphala, all of that is elaboration of this one vakya. Drushta nyaya hana anupapattav. Means you cannot let go of drushta nyaya. In transactional world only you see that there are so many actions which we do whose results come at a later point. They need some other karma phaladata. So this is drushta nyaya. He says here also, don't let go of such drushta nyaya. Okay, this is the main point. Kriya hi dvividha drushtaphala adrushtaphala cha drushtapalapi dvividha anantaraphala kalantaraphala cha anantaraphala gatibhuji lakshana kalantaraphala कृषि सेवादि लक्षणा तत्र अनंतर फला फलापवर्गिणी एव कालांतर फलातु उत्पन्न प्रध्वंसिनी आत्मसेव्याद्यधीनम आत्मसेव्यादि अधीनम ही कृषि सेवादेह फलम यतः. Same thing, huh? Kriya hi dvivida. Kriya is of two types, drushtaphala and adrushtaphala. Drushtaphala api dvividha. Drushtaphala again is into two types, anantaraphala and kalantaraphala. Anantaraphala gatibhuji lakshana. Example of anantaraphala is walking and eating. Gati means walking, bhuji means eating. Kalantaraphala cha krushi sevadi lakshana. Example of kalantaraphala is farming, etc. Tatra anantaraphala phalapavargini eva. Anantaraphala is that action which will end by producing the result itself, right at that moment. Kalantara tu utpanna pradvamsini. Kalantara phala will get destroyed, but result has not come yet. He says that is kalantara phala. Atma sevyadi adhinam hi krushi sevadehe phalam yatah. Atma means over here krushakaha, the farmer. So farming depends upon the farmer. But he says sevyadi adhinam, the second type of kalantaraphala which was there, that depends upon sevya. Sevyadi adhinam hi krushi sevadehe phalam yatah. So he's telling this yagadi karma that you are doing, that is like sevyadi adhina karma. Okay, simple, right? Once we had seen that. Nacha ubhaya nyaya vyatirekena swatantram karma tato va phalam drushtam तथा च कर्मफल प्राप्तौ न दृष्ट न्याय हानम उपपद्यते तस्मात् शान्ते यागादि कर्मणि नित्यः कर्तृकर्म फल विभागज्ञ ईश्वरः सेव्यादिवत् यागादि अनुरूप फलदाता उपपद्यते. So nacha ubhaya nyaya vyatirekena. Ubhaya nyaya means the atmadhina and sevyadhina. Atmadhina phala, atmadhina karmas, they depend upon mostly the karta, but sevyadhina depends upon the savior. He says don't let go of these two nyayas and say that there is some swatantra karta. उभय न्याय व्यतिरेकेण स्वतंत्रम कर्ता ततो वा फलम दृष्टम इति न च वाच्यम. Don't say this. तथा च कर्मफल प्राप्तौ न दृष्टन्यायहानम उपपद्यते. Drishtanyaya he mentioned before. Now this entire portion was elaboration of what is that Drishtanyaya Hanam. Drishta means what is seen. Nyaya means logic. Hanam means letting go of that logic. He says don't let go of things which are very obvious. Drishtanyaya Hanam upapadyate. Tasmat shante yagadi karmani. Therefore, even when the karmas of yajna yagadi, they are finished, they are over, because it is kalantara phala type of karma, it will depend upon sevya. Nityah kartru karma phala vibhagajnah Ishwara. Bhagavan, who is knowing all the details about the emotions, the bhava with which the karta has done karma, the place in which he has done karma, all those details who knows, that is kartru karma phala vibhagajna Ishwara. Sevyadivat, just like that master gave results to that sevaka, in the same way Bhagavan gives results to a devotee. Sevyadivat yagadi anurupa phaladata upapadyate. Meaning what? Even when we are doing nitya karma, even when we are doing our daily duties, if we can divinize it by offering to Bhagavan, while doing that duty, we might not know what is going to come out of this bhava, right? Because it is kalantara phala karma. Result is going to come at a later point, but still he says doing actions in this way leaves an impression on Bhagavan's mind. So even in nitya karma, if one can bring devotion, karma yoga bhava, that will bring a lot of good results in that sadhaka's life. Mahatmas come up with a story, to explain this point. They said there were two people, two youngsters, who joined a merchant. Merchant, he was having some business, and two youngsters said, we want to get a job there. Same day, both of them joined. A and B, let us say. Okay. A was a very, very hardworking person. Whatever you give him, he will go over and beyond to finish it, will stay longer and do things. Whatever has not been told to him, keeping in mind the master, he will accomplish that particular task. And this other person, B on the other hand, used to cut corners. And so much so that all his work, A only had to do. Everything that was due for B, only A had to do. And after every day, B would go and give upadesha to A. Why are you working so hard? You see, you slog the whole day and you get paid X amount. I am cutting corners. I also get paid the same amount. And moreover, you end up doing my work. So you should also do what I am doing. Don't, be very, like in colloquial terms, I say, don't be Satyavadi Harishchandra. Today's world, it is very different. Things are not the same as you are thinking it to be. So this went on. A was very hardworking, B was cutting corners, went on. 1 month passed, both got same salary. 2nd month, 3rd month, 6 months passed. And master was also there. He also was seeing everything. He didn't say anything. For 1 year, nothing happened. Both A and B got same salary. Then a phase came where there was downsizing. They said business is not doing well. We can't afford 2 employees. So this master goes to B and says, today is your last day. Because you have done sufficient, and I've also seen it. If one person can do both your work, why do I need you in addition to that? Now see, while he was working for that 1 year, right, doing his duty well, putting forth his effort, what must be his feeling? That I am doing this whole thing, but I don't even know if anybody is noticing it. And I am putting forth effort, I am not getting the result. I'm working so hard, but I'm not getting what I'm due to get. And look at this other person who is not working hard, but also getting the same result as I'm getting. This is the nature of kalantara phala karma. It is getting accrued, but result will not be seen right away. So the purpose of this story is to say that when we do our action, our savior is Bhagavan. Just like that master was watching the two employees, and you precisely knew who was doing what. In the same way, Bhagavan watches each and every devotee. Right? What is our bhavana towards karma? What is our sincerity in karma? None of that goes unnoticed. Somebody who can settle in this understanding will become independent of the world. He says karma phala comes through the world, but it is not given by the world. Karma phala data is Bhagavan, and he is Antaryami, who is noticing all these facets. Okay. This was an elaboration on that last part. Sevyadivat yagadi anurupa phaladata bhavati. Means if A was the sevaka there, and Sevya was that master, right? How that impression was created and that master gave phala. In the same way, impression is created on Bhagwan's mind, and Bhagwan gives karma phala. More we should reflect on our own. These are all different pointers Bhagwan is giving. Different pointers Bhagwan is giving. Now we should try to see it more in our life. Try to see it in Puranas, in Ramcharitmanas, where these things are mentioned, Bhagavatam, where these things are mentioned. It will open up even more. It will make us see Itihasa Purana in a very different light. Pandavas going through that Vanavasa. All 5 years, different people had different mindset. Bhima said, Kalanta Phala, there is nothing like that. Why are we not getting the result right now? And all 5 brothers, they had their faith in different things. Arjuna had faith in Lord Krishna. He said, if Bhagwan is there with us, he comes in between to visit us, nothing can go wrong. Our Yudhishthira had faith in Dharma. He said, if we have done the right thing, nothing can go wrong. Bhima had faith in strength. He said, if I am so, if I have the strength, everything is okay. I can finish Duryodhana. Let us go and fight. And Nakula and Sahadeva, it is said they had faith in astrology. This is said in Mahabharata, that conch blown at the right time, looking in the right direction, they blowed the conch, they say everything is okay. So different people have Shraddha in different things, but if we have to rise up from Paristhiti Vada, rise up from immediate circumstances and go into the cause of those circumstances, which is karma, we will need this kind of thinking. Okay, karma, the Paristhiti situation comes because of karma only, right? But right now, how should I respond to that Paristhiti? This is with this bhava. Okay, even in sadhana, not having that anxiety, that I've been doing meditation for 2 weeks, nothing has happened, right? So it is kalantara phala karma. It will take time to give results. Okay. Now Poorva Paksha is waiting, not that he has gotten convinced, He says, okay, Bhagwan, please tell me what have you established now? He says, okay, you have established there is karta who does karma, and there is karma phala data who is different from this karta who gives results of action. Right? That's what you said, right? Karma cannot give the result. Karta alone cannot give the result. There has to be karma phala data who is different giving the result. He says, okay, just look at this world and see wherever this Swami Sevaka Sambandha has come. Does it end at 2? Means the Sevaka is there and Swami is there? Or does that Swami also have another Swami? And that Swami will have another Swami. Means he says, if there are people, right, and they say, our boss is some politician, let us say. He says, is that politician the final boss, or is there some boss on top of him also? He says there is the party which is there, which is controlling him also. Now in that party also you will find again the people are their boss because they have to elect. So it's a cyclical thing. You will never have two people who are absolute. That this Swami is the absolute Swami. If you have the Swami Sevaka Sambandha, that Swami will have another master. That master will have another master. So he says, if you say Jiva is Karta is different and Bhagwan is Karma Phaladata who is different, Bhagwan will also have another Bhagwan. Just like you had Swami Sevaka Sambandha here, you will end up with a cyclical, or infinite regression of Swami Sevaka Sambandha. And this will continue forever. You will end up with that difficulty. Bhagavan says, I was waiting for this. I knew that you would raise this. He says, in Vedanta, we don't say there is absolute difference between Jiva and Ishvara. It's a very beautiful point. Vedanta Pratipadya Ishvara. What is the nature of Bhagwan according to Vedanta? He says they are different only from conditioning standpoint. Essentially speaking, Bhagwan is Sakshi. He says, essentially speaking, Bhagwan is that pure consciousness. Don't think he is somewhere, sitting somewhere and giving karma phalas. Okay? Let us see now. It's a very nice bhashya. Sacha Atma Bhutah Sarvasya Sarvakriya Phalapratya Sakshi Sarvakriya Phala Pratyaya Sakshi Nitya Vijnana Swabhavaha Samsara Dharmaihi Asamsprushtaha Shrutescha Na Lipyate Lokadukkhena Bahyah Jaram Mrutyumatyeti Vijaro Vimrutyuhu Satyakamaha Satyasankalpaha Esha Sarveshwaraha Punyam Karma Karayati Anashnananyo Abhichakashiti Etasya Va Aksharasya Prashasane Ityadya Asamsarini Ekasya Atmanaha Nityamuktasya Siddhau Shrutayah Smrutayascha Sahasrasho Vidyante Sacha Atma Bhutah. This Ishvara, Bhagwan is Atma Bhuta. It is the same as this inner pure consciousness. So don't make Bhagwan as somebody who is different from you, who is somewhere else. And this last slide, whatever we saw, that comes in Anand Giriji's Tika. He is explaining the word Atma Bhuta. Why has this word Atma Bhuta come? He says because Poorva Paksha might think there is an infinite regression between Sevaka and Swami. That Sevaka is different or Karta is different and Karmaphala Data is different. So just like you will have regression here in Sevaka and Swami, you will have a regression even in Karmaphala Data and Karta. To remove that idea, this word has come Atma Bhuta. He is not different from this Karta in essence. And you see this definition of Bhagwan. Now all of this is Bhagwan according to Vedanta. This we are seeing in 4th chapter also now. Avatara Prakarnam is going on. So what is nature of Bhagwan according to Vedanta? If you say Bhagwan takes avatara, the question is who takes avatara? Avatara itself is Bhagwan, right? So who takes avatara? According to Vedanta, it is pure consciousness takes avatara in a physical form. So one indicator of Bhagwan is Sarva Kriya Phala Pratyaya Sakshi. It is a witness of all actions and all results also. Different experiences which are coming our way, is Bhagwan is Sakshi of all of that. In Tvampada, what we say? I am the witness of thoughts. And what is said here? Bhagwan is witness of thoughts. So you say, Bhagwan, either you stay or I can stay. Who should stay? You say, that is Mahavakya. That essential nature of Tat and essential nature of Tvam is not different. There is only one Chaitanya, not two Chaitanyas trying to fit into one place. Right? Sarva Kriya Phala Pratyaya Sakshi. Nitya Vijnana Swabhava. He is always of the nature of knowledge. Now this you can take with conditioning also. You can take without conditioning also. Without conditioning, Bhagwan is Chaitanya Swarupa. So Nitya Jnana Swarupa. With conditioning, he has Vishuddha Sattva Upadhi. So knowledge about his own nature, knowledge about his nature as pure consciousness, all of that is ever available to Bhagwan. And Nitya Jnana means even during Pralaya Kala, this Jnana doesn't get dissolved. Jnana doesn't get dissolved. So either you can take with conditioning or you can take without conditioning also. And samsara dharma asamsprushtaha. He is unaffected by the different happenings in this samsara. Unaffected by different happenings in samsara. Now to elaborate each point, Upanishad mantras are quoted. What is the main connection? Poorva Paksha said, Vedas don't talk about Ishwara. And he said, you are telling Arthavada and Pramana. I will tell you how to interpret Upanishad mantra. He said, Swarga Kamo Yajeta. Bhagavan is telling, these are also there. These Upanishad mantras are also there. And this is what Vedanta considers as nature of Ishwara. In his essential form, Bhagavan is pure consciousness. With conditioning, he becomes Saguna. What was the example Goswamiji gave? Water becoming ice and water becoming steam. He says with the conditioning of temperature, that same water can become ice and same water can become steam. There is no essential change in the nature of water. It's only appearing in a different form. So with the conditioning of devotees' prayer, that same Nirguna Chaitanya can appear as Saguna and do all Leelas and do all Charitra. Everything is done. So he says, from Nirguna standpoint, this is the nature of Bhagavan. Na lipyate loka dukkhena bahyaha. All dukkha is bahya. Because Bhagavan is Chaitanya Swarupa. He says from that Chaitanya standpoint, everything is bahya only. That is why na lipyate. That is one meaning of it. Na lipyate means what? That Chaitanya is pratyak and everything which is happening is in upadhis, it is bahya. It's simple sadhana. Let outside things remain outside. Whatever is inside, let it remain inside. We don't have to bring outside dukkham into this Chaitanya. Or another meaning is, Chaitanya and dukkham, they are Vishama Satta. The rope and snake, they are two different degrees of reality. They can never affect each other. Rope can never get affected by that snake. Jaram mrityu matyeti. There is no old age, there is no death in this consciousness. So Bhagwan in essential form is of this form. Okay, Jaram means old age, Mrityu means death. No old age and death in that consciousness. Vijaro vimrityu, one who has transcended all limitations, including death. That is Bhagwan's essential nature. So this is to show samsara dharma hi asamsprushtaha, to show that these Upanishad mantras were quoted. Now Sarveshwaraha, Bhagwan is, with his conditioning, what can he do? Or what does he do? Those are quoted in these Upanishad mantras. Satya Kamaha Satya Sankalpaha. Bhagwan is Satya Kama. Whatever he desires, that thing will definitely come true. Means he has to be very careful. Imagine if that Siddhi was there in somebody. And Satya Sankalpaha. Whatever Sankalpa he takes, that Sankalpa will become true. That is his nature. Now, every nature of Bhagwan has a corresponding sadhana associated with it. If I say my Bhagwan is of this nature, Satya Kama, Satya Sankalpa, what will be the sadhana of a devotee? Either offer our sankalpas to Bhagwan, or say, Bhagwan, may your sankalpa become my sankalpa. If it remains different, that is when there is a lot of conflict. Right? Devotee says, Jo tari rai so mari rai. In villages or city, they used to have a court. And court means what? Two people from that village only would be appointed as the judge. Okay, and case would come in front, and they would argue in front of this villagers, and they would not understand what are they arguing, what is the case. So one person, if he understood, let us say, and he would say, this is what I think. But because there are two judges, he has to ask that other villager, what is your opinion? He says, Jo tari rai so mari rai. What is your opinion? That is my opinion. So Maharaj would say this, devotee should live life in this way. Bhagwan, whatever is your opinion, that is my opinion. Purandara Das has written one song, right? Hanumana matave, hariya matavu. Hariya matave, hanumata matavu. Means whatever is Bhagwan's matam, that is Hanumanji's matam. But Hanumanji's position as a devotee is so elated, whatever is Hanumanji's matam, that becomes Bhagwan's matam. You see, that is their sambandha, both of them. So this is Bhagwan Satya Kama Satya Sankalpa. He says, where did you read Shastra? He's telling Poorva Paksha. You did not see any of these quotations. You said there is no quotation about Bhagwan. It is not established. All these are Ishwara Siddhi only. Esha Sarveshwaraha. Bhagwan is the Lord of this entire universe. One who has Ishana Samarthya. One who can govern, control, and give karma phalas. He says that is Bhagwan. Oh, this is beautiful. Punyam karma karayati. Means he is the one who prompts a devotee to do punya karma. Meaning what? Whenever a good thought comes in our mind, whenever we start thinking in line with Shastra, whenever we are held back from doing something which are against values, that is the voice of Bhagwan. This is that Shruti mantra which says, Punyam karma karayati. He is antaryami, and this is how he guides devotees. Anashnananyo abhichaka shiti. This is from Mundaka Upanishad. There are two birds which are sitting on the same tree. One is a jiva. Out of ignorance, it becomes bhokta. It starts enjoying the results of actions. It feels, I am going through these experiences. Another bird is Ishwara, Bhagwan, who is unaffected by any of these karma phalas which are happening around. Now it's interpreted in different ways. One way is to say it is Ahankara and Atma. Two birds, you can say it is Ahankara and Atma. But if you take Jiva and Ishwara also, one is becoming Bhokta, but Ishwara, because of his knowledge, is not becoming Bhokta. Etasyava aksharasya prashasane. Under the control of this akshara, under the control of Bhagwan only, This Upanishad mantra says, all mountains are in their own position. Rivers are flowing because this Akshara has prashasana over all of them. Meaning what? This entire creation is giving karma phala to all jivas under the control of Ishwara. All of that. These are different Upanishad mantras to show Ishwaratva. Now this is with conditioning. The first one was without conditioning. Samsara dharma hi asamsprushtah. All Chaitanya lakshanas were pointed out. Now with Maya Upadhi, Bhagwan becomes Satya Kama, Satya Sankalpa, Ishwaraha. Now these are not there in Shuddha Chaitanya. Only along with conditioning of Maya, all these titles come to that pure consciousness. Ityadya asamsarinaha ekasya atmanaha nityamuktasya siddhau shrutayaha. So Bhagwan is asamsari, and it is Atma Swarupa, and it is Nityamukta. Nityamukta, one way you can say, because there is no duality to begin with. Right? There was no duality to come and condition or bind this Chaitanya. Okay. Smrutayascha sahasrascha vidyante. There are different smrutis also. In Bhagavad Gita, so many places Bhagwan says, this is my nature. Gatir Bharta, Prabhu Sakshi. All of that is Ishvara Lakshana only. So don't say that there is no pramana for that. Okay, now before we go into next part, you saw all these Upanishad mantras, right? Carefully you saw. Now this Poorva Paksha is sitting right there. He says, I've also seen these mantras. What did Bhagavan say? That maybe you missed seeing this. Ishvara Lakshanas are here. He says, no, I have seen this. But they are only Arthavada. Arthavada means what? Something which is said to praise something, to glorify something, that is called as Arthavada. Now, in and through this discussion, Bhagavan is going to explain what counts as Arthavada and what counts as Pramana. Which statement in Upanishad one can take it as praise, and which statement one has to take it as Pramana Vakya. Simple example, let us try to understand. This will become clear later. If I make a statement, or if let us say, there is one Sanskrit teacher, and he has many students. One of them is Devadatta. Okay? And this teacher wants Devadatta to do something. He has given some memorizing task, or he has given some homework. He is going to tell Devadatta now, Devadatta, go and do your homework. You are the best amongst all. You are the best amongst all. But before that statement, he said, I want you to go and do this homework. Okay, this is one statement. Now, some other day, somebody visits his Gurukula. Somebody visits his Gurukula, and the teacher is introducing Devadatta. And he says, this is my student Devadatta, and he is the best amongst all the students. Previous Vakya also he said, he is the best amongst all, or you are the best amongst all. This Vakya also he said, the second statement also he said, you are the best amongst all. So Bhagavan says, the first Vakya is Arthavada Vakya. And second Vakya is Pramana Vakya. Why? Because when you said in the first sentence, you are the best, it was part of something else. Means he really wanted him to do his homework. And he said, you are the best. Like for children also we said, go and do this. You are so sweet. You are so good. But it is part of something else that you want to say. But if you say that statement independently, that becomes Pramana. So now Bhagavan is telling, everything that we saw about Ishvara, they are being said independently. It is not that you are doing some yajna yagadi, and in that, Ishvara is praised. So whatever is praised as part of some other ritual, other injunction, that is called as Arthavada. Okay. For example, we'll see this in the next session later. In some, rituals, there is something called as Durva Stuti. when you have to pluck Durva, they have how great is Durva. For Ganesh Chaturthi and all, we do that, right? So before plucking, they say you have to chant that mantra. Durva Stuti is there, and it will glorify the Durva itself. It gives knowledge of Durva, how it is. But because it is part of another injunction, it is Arthavada. It is not Pramana Vakya. When we do puja, there is one part which is called as Shanka Puja. In Shanka Puja, there is one mantra, which says, Darshanadeva Shankasya. Just by sight of Shankar, Kim Puna Sparshane Krute. What to talk about if you touch Shankar? If you see Shankar itself, you get so much of great results. What to talk about doing that sparsha? Because he is doing that sparsha, right, of Shankar and then doing Shanka Puja. Vilayam yanti papani himavad bhaskarodaye. All papas, they go away, just like the ice melts when sun rays hit the mountains, snow-capped mountains. What is this? He says, if I see Shankar, these results are there. What to talk about? Touching that Shankar and chanting this mantra. But this is Arthavada of Shankar. Why? Because it is part of one ritual, and as part of that, this is being elaborated. Now he says, everything which is said about Ishwara, that is not Arthavada. Because they have been said independently, and they have the power to create knowledge. This I'll just read. Nacha Arthavadaha Shakyante Kalpaitum. Don't say that all this Satyakama, Satya Sankalpa, this is a thought which comes in a sadhaka. Whenever he hears about Mahatma singing glories of Bhagavan, if either Shraddha has not ripened or we have not thought about nature of Bhagavan, we also feel sometimes it is Arthavada. A devotee can feel in that way. To remove those thoughts, these kind of bhashyas are helpful. Ananya yogitve sati vijnana utpadakatvat. Ananya yogitve means it is not part of another ritual, another injunction. Ananya yogitve. And vijnana utpadakatvat. It can also produce, or it also produces independent knowledge. Such thing is called as pramana. It is not called as arthavada. It's not mere praise. Nacha utpannam vijnanam badhyate. That knowledge which has arisen through pramana, it is not negated. Imagine if this can become conviction in our life. Whatever we have understood about Bhagavan as his nature, we should never go back on it. Never go back on it, no matter how difficult situations are, how unexplainable situations are. This is Nacha Utpanna Vijnanam Badhyate Apratishedhacha. Now, this is a very important Vakya. He says in entire Vedas, there is no Upanishad mantra, there is no Veda mantra which says Bhagavan is not there. Apratishedhacha Nacha Ishwaraha Nasti Nishedaha Asti. Ishwaraha Nasti iti Nishedaha na Asti. Like that you should read. Bhagavan is not there. There is no Ishwaraha. There is no Shruti Vakya. There is no Veda Vakya which says this. But you should remember, who is saying this? Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Alaya, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji. Because we study few Upanishads. We study few Vedic Suktams. In that we have not seen. Bhagavan has studied so many Upanishads, Bhashya. He is a master of all. He is telling this Purva Mimamsaka that before refuting Bhagavan on the strength of Vedas, Vedas themselves are not refuted. Why do you have to refute? Okay. These are very beautiful points for our sadhana. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.